All right, hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. This is Rudy. Hey, I heard Ron Paul came in 4th place on NPR. I was driving my truck tonight, and my wife and I go to a salad place every Tuesday, and they have half off on salads. So I had the radio on, and it was NPR, and they said that Ron Paul came in 4th place in Florida primary. Now, I haven't confirmed that by looking that up on the internet, but it looks like they said Romney is winning by a landslide, by a wide margin over Gingrich. And so I want to tell you guys something. I'm not going to burn a Quran in this video. I'm not going to burn a Talmud. I'm not going to yell and scream. But I want to say something. I've lost friends, and I've had huge disagreements with people. Back in April of 2011, I made a video and I said to hell with Ron Paul, because I heard him say that the birth certificate and eligibility issue of Barack Obama was not an important issue. Now, that is the most hypocritical statement I've ever heard anybody make. And I've called Ron Paul's office on several occasions and tried to tell them they need to take another look at this eligibility issue. Terry Lakin went to Fort Leavenworth Prison. Lieutenant Commander Walter Fitzpatrick went to jail. We're on the verge of Georgia coming out and declaring him ineligible to be on the ballot, declaring Obama to be ineligible to be on the ballot in this great state of Georgia. And back in April, I'm going to remind you guys, back in April, and I'll put the link in the information bar so you can go look at the video. You know, I came out with a video and it said to hell with Ron Paul. And I tried to tell, there's many videos that I've made in between then and now where I tried to get people to wake up to the fact that most people are not educated on the concepts of freedom and the concepts of capitalism, the concepts of free market. I've read several of Ron Paul's books, In the Fed, The Revolution, and A Foreign Policy of Freedom. I used to be Ron Paul's biggest fan. Man, I used to carry his signs. I used to carry his pamphlets. I used to do everything. Everywhere I went, I was Ron Paul's biggest fan. But when Ron Paul came out and said that he would not ask any questions regarding the eligibility of Obama, I wrote him off. I knew right then and there, this old man ain't got what it takes to be leader and president of the United States of America. And I said so. Now, I got a lot of flack when I burned Ron Paul's book along with the Quran and along with the Talmud back in April. But I don't know why everybody can't see it. It's just so freaking plain. It's so evident. Look, I like his ideas. He's got a history. He's got a track record. He's not a New World Order globalist like Newt Gingrich, right? He's not a magic underwear wearing cult guy like the Mormon Mitt Romney. I can't stand either one of those guys. The fact that either a Mormon Mitt Romney or a New World Order globalist Newt Gingrich makes me want to puke. But I've tried to, do everything I can, whether it be on YouTube or talking to people at my church, that Ron Paul needs to come out and say something about the eligibility of Barack Obama. And if Ron Paul would do it, if Sheriff Arpaio would do it, and if this thing comes out in Georgia tomorrow, if that would happen, it would all culminate and it would be a growing mushroom. It would just be an exploding truth. But Ron Paul, he's supposed to be a defender of the Constitution, right? Ron Paul is that's what he puts himself up. I remember seeing videos of Ron Paul with Morton Downey Jr. decades ago, and he was arguing for freedom and individualism and capitalism. I remember seeing that. But how come Ron Paul won't put his neck on the line and talk about the eligibility of Barack Obama? Are they afraid he's going to someone's going to call him a racist? Who cares? Who cares if somebody calls you a racist? I'm asking Ron Paul to stand up and to do what's right for America. We need him. He's the only one that has a chance to defeat Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich. And this Santorum dude, I don't know anything about him, but he ain't, got my excitement going on at all. So all I'm saying is Ron Paul, man, you got a very limited window here, and I've been trying to get the word out as best I can. I'm just one little guy in Texas, but I'm telling you, man, you need to say something about the eligibility of Barack Obama. You need to come out and say that there are questions about his eligibility, that his father was a Kenyan, and he doesn't meet the definition of natural-born citizen as outlined in the Constitution, as outlined in the Law of Nations by Amr de Vattel, and that both your parents have to be American citizens and you have to be born on American soil. And you could even say that that birth certificate, that long form that he supposedly released, has been proven over and over again by experts that it's not a scan of any paper document. It is put together on a computer, and there's no original paper document that it was created from. And that in itself is treason. And Ron Paul, if you won't say it, you don't deserve to be president. And what you're going to do is you're going to let someone like Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney, these freaking New World Order, Mitt Romney puts his money in offshore bank accounts. He ain't no American. He ain't no creating business for America. He's a freaking fraud. He's a freaking Mormon, man. He believes that the gold plates from Joseph Smith floated back up to heaven. Are you kidding me? Joseph Smith rewrote the freaking Bible. I got a copy of it over there. I'd go get it and hold it up in front of the camera. Go look it up on the internet. Look up Joseph Smith, New Translation of the Bible. Joseph Smith tried to rewrite the Bible. And freaking Mormons believe that Joseph Smith has a position right alongside Jesus Christ, if not higher. They think the Book of Mormon is more accurate than the Holy Bible. And you got this New World Order Gingrich, and the only thing that's going to stop either one of those two guys is if Ron Paul comes out and talks about the eligibility issue. I don't know how. I said I wasn't going to yell, didn't I? Here I am yelling. We will reap what we sow. We will reap what we sow, and we have sowed some bad stuff. And it's just terrible. It's terrible to see how obvious. I don't know. I'm not any freaking smarter than anybody. I just a freaking born in a cow field. My grandfather was a dairy farmer. But it's so obvious to me. These people that are in America today, they're Sodom and Gomorrah. They ain't going to understand Ron Paul's concepts of freedom. It makes him feel good to give these speeches. It may make him have a good conscience to get up and say, I told you so. But how come he won't go for the jugular? Ron Paul, we need you to take action. Ron Paul, we need you to do something rather than just sit up and talk. We need you to say that Obama is ineligible to be president, and if you get a chance, Ron Paul, to be president, you will look into it, and you will have the matter go to court, and you will have standing, and it will be brought before a judicial court on merit, not dismissed because somebody doesn't have standing. And I guarantee you, if this thing is looked at in a court of law, they will know that the definition of natural-born citizen is both parents have to be a United States citizen. And Ron Paul, we need you, man. I've tried everything I can since April of 2011 to get this message to you, but I don't know why. I don't know why you guys don't see it. It's so clean. I've lost friends. Did I tell you when I came out against Donald Trump? Because I didn't like Donald Trump even when everybody else in the birther movement liked him. I said Donald Trump, I was concerned that he was a sellout. And sure enough, when President Obama, the supposed usurper, son of Satan, called him a carnival barker. Do you remember when Obama called Donald Trump a carnival barker? That Donald Trump backed right down, didn't pursue the issue, didn't talk about it anymore, like a coward that he is. And he got some tax breaks on some new casino. Donald Trump is a sellout. Everybody's selling umbrellas, and it's raining, but nobody's trying to figure out how to change the weather. I'm not talking about with chemtrails. I'm just talking about everybody's benefiting from the fact that we got evil going on in America, but nobody's looking at how to stop it. And Ron Paul has a chance to stop it. I'm saying if Ron Paul would come out, and I've taken a lot of heat for saying bad things about Ron Paul, but his window's getting smaller and smaller. And if Ron Paul would come out, if Sheriff Arpaio would come out, and if we get this Georgia judgment against Obama in the next few days, we could see truth explode all over this country. And the mainstream media ain't going to be able to call Ron Paul a kook, ain't going to be able to call Sheriff Arpaio a kook, ain't going to be able to call Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin a kook, ain't going to be able to call Lieutenant Commander Walter Fitzpatrick a kook, Jerome Corsi a kook, Joseph Farah a kook, Pastor Manning a kook. If we all get together, when Pastor Manning had his trial, do you know there was less than 100 people? We should have had thousands of people. If we had thousands of people, we wouldn't have had to go through all this crap, and he would have already been out of office. But we had like 100 freaking people. 100 freaking people showed up at Pastor Manning's trial. What the heck is going on? Where are the people in America that want to stand up and do what's right and ain't worried about being ridiculed, and ain't worried about, the backlash from government. To hell with the backlash from government. Ron Paul, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please come out and say something about the eligibility of Barack Obama and that he's not a natural-born citizen. Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin went to Fort Leavenworth prison because of this. He was your fellow in the military, and he went to prison. He's a physician as well. Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin is a physician, and his actions speak a whole lot louder than all the speeches you've given, Ron Paul. You can give speech after speech after speech, and the people of America ain't going to pay attention to you, old man. I'm asking you to do something, not just to talk, but to get up and say something about Obama's eligibility. We got men and women that are willing to back you up. Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin went to prison. Walter Fitzpatrick went to prison. Sheriff Arpaio needs to come out as well. And Jerome Corsi wrote a book. It sold over 100,000 copies. Darren Moran quit the military and put a video on YouTube that got hundreds of thousands of hits. I'm asking you, Ron Paul, it's all in your hands, man. All you got to do is come out and have a press conference, and you could blow this thing wide open. The question is, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it, or are you just going to sit back and make more speeches about the Federal Reserve and, individualism and free market libertarianism? I love all that stuff. That stuff's great. And I know ending the Fed is what your primary goal is. But you can't beat Satan by compromising the truth. You cannot walk up and topple the Fed with compromising the truth on the eligibility issue. How come you can't see this? I know that I'm not the smartest person in the world. You got to be able to fight the truth on all fronts and to say the truth no matter what happens on every topic. Don't you realize that you look like the biggest freaking hypocrite the world has ever seen? You claim to be the defender of the Constitution, a constitutional expert, and we have the biggest constitutional crisis that America's ever had. We got an ineligible president, this freaking Kenyan, and you won't say crap? You won't say nothing? That's a hypocrite, Ron Paul. Who the heck wants to vote for a hypocrite? Show us some leadership, man. Show us some leadership. If you do that, I will do whatever I can to help you get you elected. I will become your #1 fan again. I will pass out your flyers. I'll pass out your books. Just don't be a hypocrite. Gosh. I said I wasn't going to yell and end up yelling for freaking 12 minutes. God bless every one of you. Ron Paul, we need you, man. We need you to do the right thing.